from ISC West 2025. Really happy to be joined by Sean McDevitt. Sean, Director of Product Marketing.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, Rodney.
Excellent. It's a busy show flow out there.
It is.
It's crazy busy. Hey, listen, let's just jump right in. What are some of the key best practices for successful deployments of solutions?
Yeah, so I think that it has to be an enterprise-wide deployment, right? I think that we have to involve our business partners across the organization, whether that be from HR or operations or logistics or business continuity. In order to be a successful deployment with a solution like Everbridge, we have to make sure that we're breaking down those data silos and creating partners and allies and teammates across the organization. And I think that really helps us kind of increase our risk posture, increase our ability to create a resilient organization regardless of what issues we end up facing.
Okay. ROI is huge in conversations with your customers. Talk about what Everbridge brings to the table as far as return on investment.
Yeah, I think return on investment, I think that for so long organizations have looked at solutions like Everbridge that provide critical comms, risk intel, and they view it as either a shelfware or just a cost center. But realistically, what we can be is help organizations increase their operations, right? Whether that be decreasing downtime, helping us make sure that we're communicating to our customers and our vendors in an appropriate way, or in some cases actually finding ways to grow our revenue when an event takes place. There's a lot of different kind of talks about it becoming an anti-fragile organization or a resilient organization, and what that means is you're actually going to respond to an event in an even more dynamic way and find ways to grow as an organization, which mean acquiring customers, acquiring new revenue, but finding ways to make sure that we're decreasing downtime and finding that revenue stream.
Critical event management, riff on that, the importance of that and the conversations that you have with your customers.
Yeah, so critical event management can mean a lot of different things to a different org. So whether you be someone who has one location and it's a big facility that you're managing, like where we are today with the expo hall, or if you're a retail organization with 1,000 different locations and many different employees, you still have your own ability to find out, all right, how do we become more resilient and what do we need to react to? And one thing that we often talk about with organizations, it's not always big events, right? There's obviously the things that we talk about with the hurricanes and tornadoes and the storms that just went through the Midwest this week, right? There are small events that have an outsized impact when they happen to you as an organization. And how you respond to that and how you manage that as a critical event is what separates the good from the best.
So what do you hear? What might be a common question about an end customer asking you about your solution?
Yeah.
And how are you meeting their security needs?
Yeah, so I think that the big thing that we hear from organizations, especially this week, is what are you guys doing with AI and how does it help me as an organization? And so, we're obviously investing in AI, but we're investing in it in a very purpose-built way. And so that means that we're going to help organizations understand what's actually impacting them and how it's impacting them. So we look at it from a perspective of let's prioritize risk intel that is important to you so that when you take action, it's targeted and it's specific and you're actually taking the right steps at the right time.
We're on the show floor. What are you featuring in the Everbridge booth?
Yeah, so we've had it's been a very busy week this week at ISC West, which is great. So the big things that we've really started to promote are our purpose-built AI, showing organizations how they can utilize that and how they can help it kind of become a force multiplier for their organization. But then we've also really focused on our ability to help organizations integrate their camera systems, their alarm systems, their monitoring systems, so that they can have it all on one platform and they can actually make sure that individuals are going to have that fusion center experience that a lot of organizations are really targeting.
You came to the show, no doubt, with some key talking points. Give me another big takeaway for visitors to your booth at the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we created the CEM space about 8 or 9 years ago, right? We were kind of one of the first to markets for critical comms. We reinvented ourselves and created the CEM, the critical event management space. And now we're taking that next step. That next step is going to be what we call high velocity CEM. And so, organizations have been trying to get to that critical event space, and now we're starting to take that next step. How does AI help me? How does risk intel help me? How do I go the full spectrum of a critical event? Meaning all the way from the planning phase and the business continuity, all the way through the analytics and improving cycle. So we're really helping organizations take that next step with some high velocity CEM.
There's a story to tell here.
Thank you.
Sean, thanks so much.
Thank you, Rodney.